Sotah Yerushalmi Daf. Lamed Gimel, Halacha Daled. Look at the Mishnah. Shisha Shvatim Ol Rosh HaGrizim, Shisha Shvatim Ol Rosh HaRevel. Right, so brachas are close. You had six Shvatim on HaGrizim, six on HaRevel. HaKonim Levim Ha'orden Ha'imdim L'mata Be'emtza. And the Kohanim Levim were in the middle. HaKonim Mekifnos Orden Levim as HaKoyanim. So the Kohanim surrounded the Aron, and the Levim was standing around the Kohanim. V'chol Yisrael Mikan, like we said. And the Yisrael, the rest of Yisrael was on either side. Shneimah says V'chol Yisrael was Ken of a Shoitrav. Ushvatav, Oimdim Mizel La'aron, standing on either side. Okay. Halfu Peneihem Klapi Hagrizim Upaschu V'bracha. So they would turn the Levium would turn their and face Hagrizim, and they would start the bracha. Baruch Yeshua Pesel Masecha Tevas Hashem Masi De Chorosh. V'lo Som Basos V'yu Elu Oinin V'Oimrin Amen. And both sides would answer Amen. So it would face Hagrizim, say the bracha in the bracha format, and then hafchu pneim klapi harevel. They would turn the levim would turn to harevel. Pasul beklal they would start the klal, and they would say again the same thing, but in the ara part of it. Ara isha sheyasa pesel masecha diavas Hashem goymer v'hayu elu v'elu oinin v'oimrim amen, and everybody on both sides would answer amen. Acha goyim brachas uklas. Now finish all the brachas and the klalis. Zok the Gemara Tani Rabbi Yami Efsheloim Levi L'malon. You can't say that Levi. Right now, you have to keep in mind we said there was six shvatim either side. So you can't say Zok Rebbe. You can't say that Levi was on top. Shekva Nema Levi L'matan. If Shenem Levi L'matan, you can't say Levi was the bottom. Shekva Nema Levi L'malon. So, well, the question is, so where exactly was Levi? So it says, right, and the Carbonada. Right, he says, "Shekva nema levi lamata b'sefer Yeshua ksiv v'chol Yisrael was kind of oimdim mizeh mizeh l'aron neged the Levim." So you see, obviously the Kohanim Levim were together in the valley. And Shekva nema levi lamalan zok the Carbonada Moshe kasab b'Torah elu yam the levarech Shimon v'Levi Yehuda. So you see that Levi was on the other side also. So Emamayata zikne kuna levi lamata, and the zikanim of both the Kahanim Levim, they were on the bottom, and Shakal Shevet Lamal. Everybody else was on the mountain. Now, Reb Shimon Aimer, Ef Shalom Levi L'malon, Shekva Nema Levi L'matan. V'yesh Nema Levi L'matan, Shekva Nema Levi L'malon, Emamiata, Roiler Shores L'mata. So the way it worked was, he says, no, it wasn't the Zikain, it was the ones who were Roiler Shores, they were L'mata. V'shakal Hashem, the rest of Levi was L'malo. Reb Shimon Aimer, Shimon V'Levi, Ma Shimon Kulu L'malo. Reb Shimon says, no. Ma, it's a Shimon V'Levi, Ma Shimon Kulu L'mala, Af Levi Kulu L'mala. So then in that case, Freit the Gemara, Ma Mekayim Odein Tanya, Negative Kohanim Levim. What do you mean negative Kohanim Levim? It says in the pasuk negative Kohanim Levim. If you're telling me, Reb Shimon is telling me that the Levi were Lamala, so what does that mean? So after the Gemara, Kedem or Rishub and Levi be'esma abal makavos nikru Kohanim Levim v'zeh echad mehem v'Kohanim Levim b'nei tzaddik. We see that Kohanim Levim b'nei tzaddik. So that the Kohanim were referred to as Levim. So it was only the Kohanim who were on the bottom, but we find in 24 places that Kohanim are also called Levim. Yachol the Gemara. Elu sheba agrees mahayu aimin brachas ve'elu sheba harevel hayu aimin klolos. Hameloi ma brachas va'klolos elu ve'elu hayu aimin brachas klolos. They both answered on both the brachas and the klolos. Yachal mishayu aimin brachas hayu aimin haklolos. That they said it all in one shot. So they said all the brachas, then they said the klolos. Hameloi ma bracha va'klolo. Singular brachachas uklolachas. Like we saw in the Mishnah. Yachal elu sheba agrees mahayonim achar abrachas amen ve'elu sheba harevel hayonim achar klolos amen. I'm sorry, so I misstated something before when we said abrachas klolos. It was let's say the people in Hagrizim, right? You would think that they both said all the brachas and the klolos. So he says no. So that was said by the Kohanim and the Levim. If you hold with that sheet, they would say each one in face like we saw in the Mishnah. And they would answer Amen. That's what we're getting to over here. Yachal elu sheba agrees mahayonim nachar habrachas Amen. Elu sheba harevel hayonim nachar klolos Amen only. Tamaloim va'anu kol am va'amru Amen. Elu hayonim nachar brachas v'achar klolos Amen. Both sides answered after both the brachas and the klolos Amen. Ha ketzad. So how? So okay, b'shor shoyu aimin brachas v'yohivchim pnei klape agrees like we saw in the Mishnah. B'shor shoyu aimin klolos v'yohivchim pnei klape arevel. So when they said the brachas, the Levim faced the Hagrizim, and so the klolos they faced Harevel. Baruch beklal or Baruch beprat. So now we're going to dash this, and it's going to go through different numbers, how many, what was included here in each bracha and in each klala. So so each of the brachas was with a klal, and it was built from the carbonate Baruch beklal al kol haTorah. Baruch, and they said it in a more in general form. Al kol haTorah, right? Baruch Hashiyakum is divrei Torah zos. That's a klal. Or Baruch beprat, Baruch Shelo Yaseh pesla maseches. So it specify what it is. Or bechlal and or beprat, same thing. Sheish esrei brises al kol davav das. It comes out that you had 16 brises on each item. Lilmoid, ulalamed, lishmar, velases. Right. So the each of them required four. So each item had a total of 16. So it's lilmoid, lilalamed, that's two, lishmar, velases is four. And then you had ar bechlal, ar bechrat, baruch bechlal, and baruch beprat. So you have altogether 4 times 4 will be 16. So let's just take it a second to look at the carbonate. Lilmoid ula lamed lishma velas is the carbonate. Kol mitzvahs kulan tunan arba Allah. Biksiv lamanatim ois mishmartim lasoisam. Biksiv lamanatim ois mes benech megoyim. Reikan arba mitzvahs l'chol mitzvah. Each mitzvah had included in it 4 mitzvahs. Valabatan imsu aru. Or baruch beklal prat, like we just said. Baruch asher yilmedu, or asher lo yilmedu. V'chein lamed, v'chein lishma, v'chein lasas. Notice they went through each of these things. Right, so it said to learn, to teach, lishmar, stay away from, and lasas is a mitzvah say. B'chol achas abo brisos, bris levaruch beklal, bris levaruch beprat, bris leor beklal, and bris leor beprat, and then you have lishma v'lasas, and you have lulmad ulamed. So altogether you have 16. Fine. V'chein behar Sinai, v'chein behar v'smoyov was the same thing. And each one of them had 16 brisos. Each mitzvah had 16 brisos. Reb Shimon haimoitzi shel hagrizim shel harevo. Reb Shimon said no. Hagrizim harevo were not included, and maybe shel oil moed tachtein. Instead, he said it was the oil moed that and he says this is referring to by the oil moed that when just to look at the carbon. Hey, maybe shel oil moed tachtein shalach shukam mishkan dibra kodesh baruch hu Moshe be yishuv v'lomdei kol ha'torah k'liksiv v'dav Hashem elov my oil moed lema. That's what he says. And Shimon says no, it was by Grizim Arevel, it was by oil moed is where they had I guess the 16. Every mitzvah in the Torah has on it 576 brises. How does he get to 576? Does he get out the calculators? And like this, Shtei Misrei Bebaruch, Shtei Misrei Be'ar, so you have 24. Shtei Misrei Bechlal, so you have 36. Shtei Misrei Befrat, you have 48. Reba Mishmaina brises. Lilmoid, Ulalame, Lishma Velases, right? So you take all of these and you have 48 times 48, you have 48 times 4. Haremeya, Betishim, Vishnayim, Brisos, you have 192 Brisos. V'chein Bahar Sinai, V'chein Bahar V'smar, so each one of those had 192 Brisos. Harei Chomesh Mes V'shiv M'sheish Brisos, altogether you have 576 brises between the 16, and plus you also have on that you have Arvis Moav, you have Har Sinai, so altogether you like we said you have 576. Reb Shimon Yehuda ish kfar amum oimim mishum Reb Shimon sheish meyus elef u'shlosh salafim chamesh meyus v'chamishim. So you have 603,550. You have 603,550, which is communion, zok the carbonated communion b'nei Yisrael shoy b'sina shekol echad nasa oriv al kol echav. So each one was an oriv for the other one. So the amount that you had by Har Sinai, that's the amount of the amount of brises that you had. Rabbi Yomer im kediv Reb Shimon Yehuda ish kvar amum she'amim mishum Reb Shimon ein kol davar davar natar she'en kosler abor shmoyne pa'amim. Right, so everything has on it, right, 48 times. I'll call pam v'pam sheish meis elef v'shloishes lav v'chamesh meis chamishim 603,000 and 550. So you would have 48 times the 600,000 number. Okay. Because each one is responsible for the other one. So it comes out that each one's brisos that you had for each mitzvah, you multiply that by each, because if I'm responsible for you and you for the next guy, the next guy, the next guy, the next guy, so that's brisos, all of your brisos are my brisos, etc. Okay, ad kedain dvarim shenechlulu benifratu. So okay, so this includes all the items that we gave the klolim and we gave the pratim for. Dvarim shenechlu v'loy nifratu. How do you know that they became zokte carbonated? Dvarim shenechlu v'nifratu sham minayin shenis. How do you know if they didn't specify the bahagris mahoya arevus, right? So the arevus was over there. So what about the mitzvahs that weren't said befrat? Inam dvarim shaloi nemer beferish b'torah elas midrash minayin. Or he says the other pshat is it could be things that are not said beferish. Okay, those are for mitzvahs that we have beferish. What about if we learn it from Xer Shava? Okay. Omale Kena Rabbi Yochanan Mishum Shimon Kol Shoy Bechlal v'Yotzim Neklal Al Ameid Loy Lalam Latzmi Yatzel Lama Kol Koloi Yatzel. So just the same way, right? So we use a famous drasha. You say it every morning before Shachris, right? So that that the mitzvahs right Kol Dor Shoy Bechlal v'Yotzim Neklal. So just like all the mitzvahs that had the that we got the pratim for, you became an Arif if everybody else, right? So too, right? It's not come to teach it for itself, because that I already know. I became an Arif for you for the mitzvahs that had the pratim. What about it's coming to teach me that even the ones that on the klal kuloi also it's teaching us that I'm an Arif. Amalei. That's wonderful. Loi b'davar dilma b'shnei dvarim, v'ach b'shnei dvarim l'kayamin. We know the famous this rule only applies kol shoy b'chlav yesman klal is only if it's one item. If it's two items, then we say, well, these things are obviously different, and we don't learn from that, right? And here you have two items, obviously. Amar Rav Tumchum mekim niksib b'soif. Amen. Because the amen that was said at the end after the brachas and the close, that unites all of it to turn it into one, and therefore we could learn out just like there's arevis for the mitzvahs that we have the klolim and pratim, so too there's arevis for the mitzvahs that we have only the klolim for. Okay. Zok the Gemara. Ksiv or shalo yakum is divrei Torah azos. So this is very literal. You have to raise it up. It's the Torah that falls. That's the chazan that and the carbonated learns. It's the one that does hagbas. You have to be careful. Make sure you raise it up. Don't drop it. A bezdin shalamaton. That's referring to the bezdin shalamaton. Dom Rav Chuna Rabbi Yehuda b'shem Shmuel al dav hazeh kore Yoshia me'amelech Yoshio v'omar alai lahakim. So he sees the responsibility. It's the king's responsibility to make sure that there's justice. And when we're referring to Arash Allah Yakim is divrei Torah zayis, right? That's where he opened up the Sefer. When they opened up the Sefer Torah, when they found it, I think it was Chilkiah kind of. When they found the Sefer Torah, they opened up. This is what it was open to. So that's referring to the Melech, and that's where Yoshio had the whole Osiris, and he was machzor everybody with tshuva. Reb Acha b'shem Reb Tamchum Reb Chia lamad v'limeid v'shama v'asa. So you have somebody who's lamad, he learned, limeid, he taught, shamar, he did, the sham v'shamar v'asa. Right, so Shami started with lav and v'asa, he did mitzvahs, v'haisa speak b'yodoi, sveik b'yodoi lahachzik, and he had an opportunity. He could have helped others learn, maybe kind of mitzvahs, but he didn't do it. I guess this was kiruv. We can call it a modern day terminology. We call it Kiriv. Hareze Bechlal Ar. He's considered Loylenu, he's an Ar. Rabbi Yirmiyah Shem Reb Chia Baba. Loy Lomad Veloy Limeid. Let's say if somebody didn't learn, didn't teach, Loy Shama Veloy Yosef, Veloy Hoyses Fake Biyadalach. So he didn't have any opportunity to do any of this stuff. Couldn't do here. The Hechzik. But he was machzik, and he ended up, I guess, he ended up supporting people who are learning. Hareze b'chlal baruch. So even though he did nothing else, all he did was support Torah. He's b'chlal baruch. V'amar Reb Chana, Reb Yirmiyah b'shem Reb Chia, asa kadosh baruch hu lasas tzel lebalei mitzvahs, betzelu shebalei Torah. That a Kadosh Baruch Hu was going to make a tzel. Actually, the Carbonated guy is guys say kit sailor shabalter. Now, someone who is supports Torah will get a sale. He'll be in the same shade. I'm not sure what that means in Olam Haba, but he'll be in the area kit sailor shabalter, like the ones who did the actual learning. Mat time. Where do we see this from? Ki b'tzela chachma b'tzela kesef. So you see, b'tzela chachma is what the kesef. Right? So if you have money, support Torah. So see, it's Eitz Chaim, it gives you life if you're machzik Torah. So somebody's machzik Torah is a schus, like somebody's learning Torah. What a wonderful way to end the daf.